Hey guys, today I'm going to be addressing a little more serious of a topic, so if you'd like to kind of have a stable experience and kind of keep your day going without getting too deep and philosophical, just go ahead and click off of this. You are not obligated to watch. We're going to be addressing some pretty serious topics, two of which being what we do to ourselves as a result of what we think we do and what happens to us, and then the manner of self-destruction. So we'll begin with separation of happenings. Now you could separate from any happening that's artificial. For example, I could just stop talking in this video and completely do something else with my time. But given that the impulse to kind of spread at least something that could help in a dark time, it's not like this happening would seriously control me to that extent where I wouldn't have that subconscious implication to at least, I don't know, to summarize. Don't blame yourself for what isn't within your control. No matter if you miss a shot in a game, if you like slip and fall at like school or work or anything like that, or say if you don't like beat that one video game level you wish you could have, or say you like play a wrong note, you miss an ink stroke with your pen or pencil or brush, or you erase outside of the lines and have to redraw it, like that kind of stuff. That's human nature. And it's completely acceptable to like integrate your human nature into the totality of your life experience. For example, if you don't want to get out of bed, but you have a sketch pad and stuff to do, so you don't like just think about how much you don't want to get out of bed while you're in bed, just go ahead and do that at least. Just at least just a little bit of something. Nobody there honestly wasn't a plan for existence. It happened on its own. You're here, you're alive, and you're entirely where you are. The past, that's an illusion. You have to think in order to remember the past. You'd have to conceptualize the future. That's why if you make concept art, you can set your heart somewhere and then just kind of enjoy as you go. It's just a common mistake, I guess, in our like society today, that we basically kind of put numbers and symbols and words and all that and like artificial concepts above the actual thing. And that's why, for example, if I'm ever having a stressful time, remembering stuff I don't wanna, I just kind of turn on some like loud music and then keep myself occupied. Now, the goal, of course, is not to complete something. If you want an assignment, you set a clear direction. But if you ever just want to do something for its own sake, you don't need anyone's permission. You don't have to ask your heart to beat or your lungs to do whatever they do. I don't have the word for it now. But that's the thing. You don't need words for anything. They are good servants, but unbelievably terrible masters, because they have so many different meanings. And then think about the sentences and grammar, and then, oh lord, it just goes on and on. It just goes on and on and on. In more words, right? To summarize, if you heard it, you get me. But, you know, believe it might be a little easier to kind of present this information in a way that'll be a little more like, so there's nothing you lost in your childhood, because your childhood was a present moment, just like this. If you miss that aesthetic, you can certainly set the tone and the mood. If you have free time, you are in entire control of your life. Well, maybe not entire, because you still have subconscious processes that get you to have to do stuff, but that means forsaking anything free to you and within your reach really just isn't worth it. Life's all here. It's happening for you, because you are life itself. You know how you can feel your thumb on your index finger instantaneously without you having to plan it? That's you. That's your body. You're the you're the fundamental energy that constitutes that. And if it's too philosophical, of course, I added a disclaimer at the beginning of this. So, but again, another disclaimer: if you don't want to get too philosophical, by all means, you can click off. I'm not forced. You aren't. I'm not an English teacher telling you to study what I'm saying. I'm not an ancient spirit guru having traveled dozens of timelines simply to return to this homeworld and give you this knowledge. It's just kind of how I feel. It's just how I feel. Which is why we express feelings through art. And, you know, not take it out on what isn't. And I guess, to be honest, I'm just kind of lonely. Don't have many friends. Talk to myself a lot. I have Asperger's, psychosis, ADHD, DID, and I don't know if scrupulosity. No, no, that's the thing. If I keep questioning my faith, is it faith? So, moving on. Just gotta be honest with it. And it's not wrong to have any kind of faith, as long as it isn't killing you. Because, well, just look up what the Crusades are on both sides. Or any conflict in, like, human history. Like, this entire... You may not know instantly by being able to, by just looking, but the story this model is from, of course, is, one, it's primarily centered around oppression and rising above it. Which is still, you know, human nature. So, by all means, and it's human nature to love animals, too. Like, this... Well, I'm not even gonna bring it to it if you find it, like, disturbing, but... The, little fast head crab over there. I love those little things. I can't stand when they jump up and then they ruin the gameplay experience when they kill you and you're like clutching it at like 1 HP. But like you can still respawn. I got bit by a dog at my job that I once had. And the mark is still there. I call it the mark of the beast because literally I backed up assuming that I could... No. I remember now. There was a dog at a dog place I used to work at. They were a rescue dog. They had undergone some owners that really messed with how their mind developed. Really didn't treat them right, and so they were rescued from that environment. But since I was since IRL I'm male, I have a relatively, I guess I wouldn't say like, well, say like a leaf build. That's what my like body is for. And so since it fit the profile of what the animal found as a threat, I tried to back up. I tried to not look at it. I tried to just keep no eye contact. But it backed me into a corner, and eventually it bit me. And I wasn't mad that it bit me. I was like, oh, ouch, well that hurts. Oh well. What hurt more was the people at the job having to put up with fake mannerisms and then act like everything was okay. If you're ever wondering what I'm trying to say, hell is other people. I mean, look at me. I'm talking your ear off here. But for a purpose. To kind of warn you to not let people take advantage of you. If you have any scars on you, you already learned that lesson. So there's no need to ever recriminate yourself for anything you've ever done in your life. Even mentally. They're always going to be there. Who cares? Either something or nothing is there, but you don't notice anyways. And that's exactly why I didn't notice all the stuff I was doing and avoiding. And didn't notice how dishonest I was about myself and my feelings. Because what would you get out of your bed for if you didn't want to feel like having a good day? And that's about it. That's about it. Thanks for listening. This might continue, so we're just gonna leave this on just in case, because by habit, talking just happens. But yeah. Hope to death I don't have to get another job. I don't want to. I was never good at working. I have autism, and it's so difficult to deal with people. And like, it's just... Well, honestly speaking, that's why I loaded this up and kind of just came here. The DID sort of has an effect with that. I have multiple alters who kind of like switch, or at least at a certain point, I used to have my DID symptoms so badly that the alter switching would literally feel like my brainstem snapping, and I would feel it because I do like a neck roll motion, and so for a while, was just so used to it that I had more and more severe nightmares about it until I wasn't scared anymore. It was just like, whatever, go ahead and take me. Do what you want with me, get it over with. Now, abuse, victimizing, victims are victims. If something's happened to you, you have the right to defend yourself. If a job wants to take advantage of you and do stuff that you really don't want to do, you could honestly flip the bird to them and just never put them on your resume. And then be like, nah, I never interact with these people. Because there's still people who just want to make you do stuff for money. And have so wisely convinced you that it's such a great idea that they're going to go ahead and make you do stuff that seems nice in writing, but in actuality, it's just more labor. And it can't always fit you. That's why something like this, where I can come home and not even think about it as a job, but just something to relax it and just listen to sound as if it's just, always been there. It's nice. And you don't always have to play it. You don't always have to pretend you're a character or whatever you're acting through. You can just pretend to be the world itself. Or actually just, be the world itself and not have to control everything. Because that's why they leave controllers behind, so you can pick it back up anytime. And so that loops back around to never blaming your human nature, because mistakes are also human nature. Why do you think, forgiveness is a thing? You gotta pull yourself out of it somehow mentally. But even then, not even just that, it's good to forgive. For you, for whoever it was with, and for whatever happened. Because that isn't happening right now. And I'm pretty sure even if you did re-idealize the situation, at a certain point, it would get so boring that it would feel like it was so routine and commonplace that it's not fun. And it takes energy to maintain. For example, say you're like at an eating contest, right? And a whole bunch of like ice cream and hot dogs and hamburgers and stuff. It's like, wow, this is amazing. And then you start eating more and more, and it's like, okay, I'm getting sick of this. And honestly speaking, if I could put it in my perspective so you can have a bit more background, there are so many quesadillas, plates, and stuff, and I haven't finished eating. I've taken like the process of putting it together was so much more rewarding than the result of it. Even speaking, I'm not trying to like preach to you. I'm not even trying to tell you what to believe in. Just kind of offering a perspective, just in case if you're going going through something similar. And I don't get to talk to people. I really don't get to talk to people a lot because people are terrifying. So this is just where I go. And no, this isn't heaven, hell, or purgatory, because those are all mindsets and concepts. This is just kind of what actually exists. And if the fear of death rolls around, you have a spawn menu to keep yourself occupied with. And new things to learn. And if you miss someone from the past that badly, you can piece together the highlight of the experience and then recreate it in any way you want. And then just have that as a core value. And then you don't have to define yourself as a result of it. It just kind of becomes integral to your subconscious. Like playing a video game.